I recently posted a video showing how we like to visualize potential data quality problems on header level fields for institutional claims. Today, I want to talk about revenue center code. Revenue center code is a very important field on institutional claims for doing downstream analytics, and it's also a line level field. So that means it's not a header level field. So there could be multiple distinct revenue center codes per claim. And here's a nice way to visualize potential data quality problems that can happen with revenue center code. So first, we like to list the total number of institutional claims in the data set that we're dealing with, because revenue center code can only be on institutional claims. So we break down the number of claims that have a populated revenue center code and the claims that have a missing revenue center code. And by populated, we mean that there is at least one non-null revenue center code in the claim. And all the claims that have a populated revenue center code can be broken down into claims for which revenue center code is always valid, or claims for which revenue center code is sometimes valid and sometimes invalid, and claims for which revenue center code is always invalid. And by invalid, I mean that the revenue center code in the claim, or one of the revenue center codes in the claim, is not a standard value for revenue center code. And obviously, the sum of the claims with always valid and sometimes invalid revenue center code are the total claims that have usable revenue center codes. So looking at a chart like this lets us at a glance see the percent of institutional claims for which there are usable revenue center codes. And when the field is not usable, we can see the reasons why it's not usable. It's also pretty helpful to list how many valid revenue center codes are present per claim. And so here's an example using the Medicare LDS dataset from 2020. We can see that a little bit over 41% of all claims have exactly two valid revenue center codes. Almost 20% of claims have exactly three revenue center codes, and almost 11% of all institutional claims have exactly four revenue center codes populated. These percentages are for institutional claims only, obviously, because revenue center code is only for institutional claims. And 7.1% of all institutional claims have more than 10 revenue center codes. So that gives a sense of how many revenue center codes appear on institutional claims.